This show is made possible by the generous support of listeners just like you. Our show is about helping souls grow, prosper, and evolve, and every gift ensures that we can continue to do this. So we thank our generous supporters and also ask if you would like to be a part of supporting this important effort to bring this message of truth to the world. Please consider heading to experienceofthesoul.com/support to be a part of supporting us by being a regular patron or making a one-time gift. Blessings on the journey, dear friend.
Zen Living Realty, Supportek Staffing, and Center for the Healing Arts present The Authentic Spiritual Journey, a weekly show featuring real and practical spiritual conversations from diverse perspectives here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. Today, episode 128, Speak Your Truth. And now your host, Reverend Cynthia Alice Anderson.
Hello and welcome to the Authentic Spiritual Journey. My name is Cynthia Alice Anderson. I am the host, and I'm very happy to be in 818 Studios today with my producer.
Hello, everybody. This is Dave Croft. Welcome to The Authentic Spiritual Journey, episode 128 for December 7th. And I just need to say for the record, you're not in 818 Studios.
Right, that's right.
I am.
I'm in there by virtually.
Yes.
But yes, I'm recording from home today. So we wanted to just be on the safe side since we'd been with traveling and people and all that.
And I love that technology allows this to happen. I love that.
Oh, yeah, I do too. And I'm never sad to stay home and gain an hour since I don't have to commute. But Dave, we always have a great connection in the studio. And we're excited to be the first ones to say, probably happy Monday and happy December.
Happy Monday.
This is the first show of the month.
Yes. And, we're bringing new sponsors on. And it's a really exciting time. It's the holiday season. It's upon us. And yeah.
Right. Well, and today we really want to, as always, give you important spiritual principles and ways to get through the holidays, and not like they're a drudgery, but that we want to move through the holidays with ease and grace and love for ourselves and others. And we have some beautiful shows planned for the month of December. Also have some great classes coming up as well.
Yeah, and we have a special meditation tonight. Is that right?
Right. Yeah, Meditations of Light starts tonight, and that's a 2-week course. And then I even have a free meditation offering I'm doing later in the month. Yeah, so a lot of great stuff this month.
Yeah,
as well.
So it's not a meditation, it's a course. And of course, we will have links to all of that in our show notes. So be sure to check out the show for December 7th, 2020, episode 128 for those links.
Right. I do want to mention, though, I'm glad you said that. Yes, it is a course called Meditations of Light, but it's only 2 weeks, and so there is a short introduction, but the longest aspect of it is going to be a guided visualization. So each week, that'll probably be 30 minutes or more of the class, and it's going to really be a blessing to all of us because it's going to take us into the higher realms of consciousness. So, I've deepened my study of meditative work over the last couple of years. I've meditated for years, but I'm reaching new planes, new realms of consciousness. And I want to help people learn how to get up there because it does bring a tremendous peace to your heart, mind, and body. And I think that's something we could all use right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So today is show 128. Dave, you want to give us our title?
The show for today is Speak Your Truth.
Speak your truth. This is an idea that we come back to often on the spiritual journey, and you will hear me speak a lot about it because we are in the business, if you will, of growing our souls. In other words, all of us are in the business of growing our souls. That's what we're here to do. It's what we're here to be. And so each of the shows is about different ways to live into that soul growth, into that soul evolution, even into that prosperity. And today is no exception. Today's title, Speak Your Truth, is a wonderful way to be in alignment with who you are. It's a wonderful way to draw goodness to you. It's also a wonderful way to be a blessing to others. And as I thought about the title, I felt like the subtitle should be Speak Your Truth and then not tell someone off. Because, in our culture now, it's like, you better speak it. You better say it. Just tell them what you think. I'm speaking of this from a higher vibrational level. This is not about telling somebody off. It's not about hurting someone's feelings by, quote unquote, speaking the truth. It's about learning to be in your authentic power, your authentic self, by speaking the truth with love, power, dignity, and respect. So that's very different from, I'm going to tell you something and you're going to listen. So speak your truth is about speaking your truth with love, with power, with dignity, and respect. And so, you might be thinking, well, when do I do that? I mean, the answer is, of course, now, all the time. Well, where? Well, wherever you are right now. And I'm saying all of these things because speaking your truth sounds so simple. But I've learned it's a very profound teaching to speak your truth. We have endless opportunities in our day, at work, with our loved ones, in, just regular friendships and personal relationships. And of course, in thinking about the holidays, with those familial interactions, right? Interactions with our family members. Could be moms, dads, brothers, sisters, nieces and nephews, and aunts and uncles. And of course, for many people, we won't be traveling this year, but mostly at home, still, there will be those interactions. And so when we're speaking of speak your truth, when I say that phrase, speak your truth, it means that we want to live life from an authentic place. We want to live life from the truth of who we are. And it means that rather than being in reaction, we want to learn to respond to the situations that life sends us. So this is a profound idea. I'm just going to let you sit with that for a moment. I continue to be amazed at the amount of denial people can have, and myself included. As I've looked back over my life, the areas that I've seen that, for whatever reason, for years I couldn't see, and then when I saw them, wow, I couldn't believe I hadn't seen it. Dave, have you ever had situations like that?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, how could I not see that,
Yeah, it's just, you get on the other side of it and you're almost a little embarrassed, or you're
right.
You look back and you just wonder, what was I thinking? What was going through my mind?
I used to categorize my entire decade of my 20s as that.
And we're not talking about just fashion or hairstyle choices.
Right. We're talking about behaviors, denials. How
you treat people. Yeah, like there's some things where I was just really, really terrible to someone unintentionally. I thought that I was helping a friend out. It was a relationship, and there was this one person who was like really into this other person, and I was really friends with person B, the other person. I'm trying not to say anything. And it's nobody, any of our listeners really knows. But so person A liked person B. I was really close friends with person B. Person B did not like person A. And so
Oops.
I kind of like stepped in and was, quote, hopefully you can hear my finger quotes, speaking the truth. And I ended up really, really hurting this person. And even to this day, even though we've cleaned it up and I've apologized and everything, it kind of haunts me. And if anything, it helps me moving forward,
Oh, right. Well, and I'm glad you spoke about that because part of speaking your truth is making amends.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just giving your opinion. And again, with today's cultural norms, speak your truth sounds like, tell everybody what you think.
Right.
And so I'm going to keep bringing that up, that speaking your truth really is about being in integrity with yourself, with God, with others. And yeah, and so inherent in the idea of speak your truth is the idea of amends, of cleaning things up, of righting wrongs, and of honesty, just in the midst of everyday life. And go
Honesty
ahead.
with a purpose. Honesty. I don't know. And I've always had a really hard time with, well, the truth hurts. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's some times when you need to hear hard truths, but there's a way to do it that doesn't tear people down.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. And, very often I've learned, especially if there's something hard you're telling somebody, the tone of voice, your body, the way you're positioning, all those things, help impact. But, my main focus with Speak Your Truth today is about speaking the truth to yourself and then being in integrity with others about where you are on your journey.
Right.
And I think that so many of us are concerned about, quote, what you think, that we don't want to speak our truth because then what would happen? If we speak our truth, then, well, you might go away. And, and that often comes from, old childhood wounds where, we spoke the truth in the household and, we were speaking the family secret and we didn't know it, or,
Right.
Or such as that. And so, as we evolve on the journey and we become spiritual grown-ups, we know that we are responsible, 100% responsible for our lives, for the things we say, for the things we do. And I have a good friend who, she's been on the show and she will be on next year more. My friend Donna Bevan Lee says, you're not responsible for what you think and feel, but for what you do and say. And I thought that's a great delineation, because we all have thoughts and feelings that come and go, right? We all have thought processes. We all think about things. We all have feelings about things. But what you're responsible for is what you do and say. And so, everybody makes mistakes, obviously, but how you speak that truth, how you take responsibility for that is how your soul grows and evolves. If you're still, playing the game of, well, I worry what everybody thinks, so I'm going to tell them this instead of that, then you're not in truth and you're not evolving. You're pretending to evolve. And, it's just so happened that I know that this issue is really up for people right now. People's work has changed. People's lives have changed overnight. And so being able to be authentic with that, being able to be honest, with that is a stretch, and it will help us move forward on the soul journey when we can be. So I'm bringing it up because it's important to talk about. It's like, as a culture, I see our whole value. I mean, it's like, it's hard to know what the culture values at the moment. But I know what I value, and I value truth. I value the people in my life telling me the truth, and the people, of course, I speak the truth to. I think I've mentioned before, Dave, on the show that we have in our home, we have an honor code. And the first point of the honor code is tell the truth. I have such a high need for the truth. And our culture in general says, and you'll pardon this language, CYA, right? Make yourself try to look good. But the truth is, to be in integrity, sometimes we have to momentarily feel bad. But when we're in truth, ultimately, at least we'll have our integrity. So this is what I mean by speak the truth. By speak your truth. In work, and people tell me this very often, and it's interesting because a lot of my work is calling me into, I just feel 2021, I'm going to be doing a lot more in the corporate world, I've had some calls and conversations really recently about doing some work in the corporate setting. And what everybody tells me in the corporate setting, nearly every person I talk to says everybody's worrying about, CYA. And I guess everybody knows what that means without me saying it online.
I would imagine so, yeah.
So, because I don't really want to say it. In other words, pretending if there is a mistake that they didn't do it, even if they did, and let somebody else taking the fall, which of course is completely out of integrity. Completely out of integrity. And, so it's a stretch to evolve your soul. I often say that if soul growth were easy, everybody would be doing it. That we're in a time right now where, it's easy just to get mad and flip somebody off and then go, yeah, and sit in your rightness, but you haven't really spoken the truth then. So it's important that as we look at our lives, an overview of our lives, that we look at ourselves honestly and say, are we speaking the truth with love, with power, with dignity, with respect? I'm sure somebody listening is going to say, well, what about social justice? Yes, we have to stand up and speak the truth about what is happening. Yes. I know, though, that the only time anything gets solved is when people are speaking the truth with love, power, dignity, and respect. The only time things move forward. As long as we're making each other wrong, we're still doing the blame game, and that's like totally lower energy consciousness. That's the lower self, the lower aspect of humanity. So we're rising above that. We're rising above that. If so many of our listeners are on the recovery journey, and those in recovery know that there's no possibility of healing until you admit you're an alcoholic. And what's so powerful about that is you're speaking the truth, and you've been lying to everybody for years. You've been lying to everybody for years. Of course, everybody but you knew it, by the way. You were the last to know. You were the last to know. The scriptures say you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So there's, even though at times speaking your truth is arduous and difficult and takes a great deal of focus, even, and spiritual discipline, there is, in fact, a spiritual payoff, and it's called peace. Freedom. Speaking your truth, there is an emotional and spiritual payoff. It's called peace and freedom. In my work with people one-on-one, one of the keys I really see to healing is when people admit they don't have it all figured out. That's the moment when the healing begins. That's the moment when the healing begins. One of the things I'm very fond of saying, I've said this several times recently in my courses and one-on-one. I said, I want you to think about some of the best athletes in the world. And, for golf, we mentioned Tiger Woods, I said, even people like that have coaches. Even people like that are working on their game. Because the better they get, the more they realize there's stuff they don't know.
Right.
That there's ways to grow. There's ways to shift their game a little bit. Well, this is what we're doing spiritually, and yet nobody wants to admit there's a problem. We'd rather stay in our delusion and make everybody think we've got it all together. Of course, the greatest teachers I've ever had are the ones that just tell the truth about where they are, So this is what we're about today. Speaking your truth. Speaking your truth, even if your truth is, I don't know. And being comfortable enough in ourselves knowing that we're connected, knowing God loves us, knowing that we are a soul that is evolving, that we're not less by admitting, I don't know. This has been a challenge for me in a new course of study that I'm taking. And sometimes they use terms that are new to me. Well, in every class, I realize I have a choice. I can pretend I know what it is, I can look it up, or I can ask the question. Right? And so none is more right than the other, except that if I pretend I know what it means and I don't, I'm never going to have a real working knowledge. And the whole reason I'm taking the course is so I can be of more service. So if I can let that ego piece drop and ask the question or look it up and talk with a colleague later about what I think it means, well, then I really grab hold of the teaching and I know it for myself. Right? So see, being in that integrous place ultimately helps me more and helps the other people more as well, because I have a better working knowledge. But if I'm worried about, people don't really know, or trying to convince people that I really know everything, then everybody's going to miss out. I've also learned if I have a real strong question about something, probably somebody else in the class does too. So we're going to all learn it together. Right? So speaking your truth, we're going to talk more about this after the break, about learning to speak your truth with love, power, dignity, and respect. We'll be back right after these messages.
We'll return to the program in just a few moments, but first, we wanted to give a special word of thanks to our podcast partner, Zen Living Realty. Zen Living Realty's mission is to mindfully serve, connect, and positively impact their customers, partners, and community through their Zen approach to real estate. Their vision is to be the most trusted real estate brokerage in the Central Florida area. You can reach Zen Living Realty at zenlivingrealty.com or call 407-800-2717. We'd also like to give a special word of thanks to Supportek Staffing. Supportek Staffing is an innovative staffing agency built on the principle of caring about employers and employees as they navigate these new workforce and workplace challenges. If you're an employer, they want to be your human resource partner and help with the changes needed during the pandemic. If you're a candidate, they want to become your lifelong career agent to help you grow into your fullest potential. Supportek prioritizes support over volume, integrity over profits, and will treat your business and your career as if it was their own. You can learn more at supportekstaffing.com. That's SUPPORTEK staffing.com. And finally, we want to give a special word of thanks to Center for the Healing Arts. Center for the Healing Arts is one of the first dedicated group practices devoted to challenging, supportive, and nurturing therapy. Their dedicated therapists have a wide range of expertise, including relationship and couples therapy, individual therapy, addictions, neurofeedback, play therapy for children, adolescents, and families, and therapy for blended family issues. They also regularly offer day-long intensive workshops for relationships, addiction recovery, adult children of alcoholics, and healing trauma in the LGBTQ+ community. For more information, head over to centerforthehealingarts.com or call 407-657-8555, extension 1. We now return you to this week's episode of The Authentic Spiritual Journey with your host, Reverend Cynthia Alice Anderson.
Welcome back. We're glad you're with us. And I do really want to honor Marcy Kramer and Center for the Healing Arts that's here in Orlando. Thank you so much for being a part of our Experience of the Soul podcast family. And because, we are a whole channel. So often on this show, we just are so focused on the Authentic Spiritual Journey because it's a little bit of our flagship show, on the channel. But it's through the support of our, amazing sponsors that we're able to continue to bring you these shows. And I know it is a gift to people. I've heard from people around the country, even around the world, that this is blessing their lives. So we are honored and blessed to be bringing you the shows. And later in 2021, of course, you'll be hearing from Marcy Kramer and the great work they're doing there. I want to honor that because, boy, they've been a they've been a force in, Greater Orlando for 30 years.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, so we're back with Speak Your Truth, and I hope you're tracking with me on this and you're feeling into it. It's less a one-time thing and more a way of being what I'm speaking about when I say speak your truth. And what I've noticed for me, and Dave, I don't know if you've noticed that, anytime I'm really focusing on something, I seem to have endless opportunities to work it. And I'm receiving those opportunities in my own life, and also with the people that I serve. And so, anytime that happens, I know that there's a change in conscious happening. So it's not just happening with me, right? But it's happening individually, and it's happening culturally, because I'm hearing it from so many different places. So I think if I were to describe what's going on in culture right now, one of the key things is that people are tired of smoke and mirrors. They're tired of sensationalized stories. And I keep hearing people say, why don't they just tell me the truth? And then we go off in our private lives and don't. So, as we're seeking that in the outer, I think it's bringing it up in our inner lives to move more towards authenticity, to telling the truth. And I'll tell you, anybody who's a parent out there, or who, like Dave, in your case, living with family members, you have lots of practice in how to speak the truth, and how to speak the truth with love.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Be careful about seeking guidance on patience. Seeking opportunities
Exactly.
to practice patience, because you will be given endless opportunities to practice those things.
Yes, and one of the keys I've learned in working with kids, because I taught in the school system, and I've taught privately, and kids just want to be spoken to the way you'd speak to another adult. So anytime I approach my son or other children that I'm, happen to be responsible for at a given time, if I just speak to them the way I would want to get spoken to, which is, to be told the truth with love, power, dignity, and respect, well, it usually goes well. When it doesn't go well with kids is when you take this, round the bend approach that it takes you forever to get to the point, and the kids are looking at you like, what are you saying? Just can you just start over and just tell me what you're trying to tell me, So I've worked with parents and some other coaches recently who work a lot with parents, and they say, that one of the key problems with parents is they just don't want to tell them the truth. It's like, just give them the truth. That's all they want. And again, how you give them that truth is going to be important. It's going to be important. I've learned in ministry that over the years that if I sugarcoat the truth too much, people won't know what I'm saying. Right? And then if I go the opposite way, well, then it's too harsh. So there is like this happy middle where you speak the truth with love. Even speaking your own truth. Somebody asked me recently about my fee for something. And I am starting to have to say what my minimum is. It's hard for me because I have such a heart of service. And by the way, I do a lot with local organizations, giving away my time and such as that. And so I enjoy giving away my time, but I can't only do that, right? I can't only do that. Mama's got to pay the bills. So being able to speak that truth with love, power, dignity, and respect was important, because it shows how I value the gifts that I have to bring. So in that way, speaking my truth is just really an honor and a great soul growth opportunity. And so, for the first time, I'm not representing another organization. I'm representing myself and my own organization. And I know for it to survive and even thrive, there are certain things I have to do and certain things I can't do and certain things I want to do. So all of those are going to require me to be in integrity with myself and in integrity with what it is I am to be doing and saying. And sometimes it's just as simple as, this is the minimum amount of money. I can't, no, I can't give this away. And it's just so happened that over the last couple of months, of being, I sometimes laughingly say unemployed, but I don't want to give that energy because I'm just not employed at a church. But now I have my own corporation, I have my own nonprofit. I'm working harder now than ever. So I was going to say it doesn't feel like I'm unemployed. Well, I don't get a regular paycheck every 2 weeks. That's what's happening. That's what's different. But I've been getting a lot of different calls and talking with different colleagues. So at one church, I'm going to do a talk and then 5 weeks of a prosperity thing. At another church, I'm going to do 3 weeks in a row. And so to do that takes time, it takes energy. And so learning to speak my truth around what I can do as a minimal amount. And that's important. That's important to know. And it's also important for me to really honor what a given church can do. And I'm also willing to walk away. For the very first time, it's like I don't have to do everything I'm asked to do. I really can say no, but I can say no with love, with power, with dignity, with respect. And it wouldn't be, well, you can't afford me. Obviously, it would be, that's just not a fit for me right now. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I have had to say that. That's not a fit for me right now. But I'm honored that you asked, which is absolute truth. It's always an honor to be asked. It's always an honor to be asked.
Yeah.
So, speaking your truth, I always want to give the boundary as well. It doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries. Like Dave, if you say to me, hey, RCA, how's it going? And I go, well, let me tell you. I tell you everything that's going on and why and when and how and who did what, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to go, wow, I just said, how are you? It doesn't mean I talk to everybody all the time about everything. Right? So there are some boundaries with speak your truth. But I want you to think about in your work, in your, friendships, personal relationships, are you telling the truth to yourself and to others? In your familial interactions, family of origin is usually the hardest. Are you telling the truth? Are you telling the truth to yourself and to them? Telling the truth, speaking your truth is freeing. There's joy on the other side of it because it's so freeing. There's also a reality to speaking your truth that not everybody will want to hear it. And that's a hard reality, but it's part of the growth. If you're in integrity with yourself and speaking the truth and someone doesn't want to hear it, well, that's their absolute right. But you may want to look at then, why am I still in relationship with these people? If I speak my truth and they don't want to hear it, well, what is that about? And again, I mean in context where there's something to share, it's important to you, there's a joy you're trying to share, there's something you think. I am so blessed with so many beautiful friendships. And the key, I would say, one of the factors that's true across all my relationships is that we speak to truth to one another. Male, female, young, old, black, white, gay, straight, it doesn't matter. We speak the truth. And some of these friends have powerful, powerful positions in the world. But you know what? They're human and they're spiritual, and they know I can be with them when they speak their truth. They know I'm not going to shut them down when they speak their truth. They know that if they have a struggle, I'm going to love them in that. They know if they have a joy, I'm going to go, oh my gosh, I am so happy for you. That's what relationships should look like when you're on this journey. They should be full of love, full of joy, full of support. So if you've got people pulling on your energy and every time you speak your truth, they try to shut you down, well, those are not people you need. And that's part of the growth of this journey, friends. That is part of the growth. Speaking your truth. So in your time of spiritual focus that I know so many of you do every day, maybe it's on your morning walk, think about, is there a place I'm out of integrity with speaking my truth? Am I in my truth? Maybe spend some time journaling about that. Am I in my truth? Do I speak the truth in love, or do I run if I feel like I have to be authentic and vulnerable? As you grow and develop on the spiritual journey, you learn that speaking your truth is a blessing. Speaking your truth blesses you, blesses the hearers. Speaking your truth is freedom. Speaking your truth is peace. Speaking your truth is joy. Speaking your truth ultimately is love from the highest place. Speaking your truth is an honor, really. I had a conversation with a friend recently who said, "Hello, Reverend Cynthia Alice. How are you?" I said, "I'm learning a lot." And we both burst out laughing. He goes, "It's going that well, huh?" I said, "Well, I have had some challenges. I said, "Man, am I humbled every day in this new life." I said, I've never been more sure that the principles work. And I've never learned so much in a short amount of time, I don't think. I said, because not only have I started a new corporation, and now I have a nonprofit arm, that was a whole training to go with that. I'm also in a whole new field of study. So it's purposefully making me vulnerable so that I don't have every answer. I have to seek it. I have to find it. I have to be authentic in my not knowing. And I know this is from the universe. I'm so grateful for it. And so being able to just share that with a friend and get that really heard. And we just laughed about it, and then I gave him some examples and things. And then what was funny is, of course, then he said, "Well, here's what I'm working on." See, that's what a real friend does. Not, "Well, shouldn't you know how to do this? And I can't believe you messed up on that. And, why are you doing that?" Right. So I'm giving those examples, friends, because I've heard these. I've heard these in one-on-ones. I've heard these in class settings. I've experienced them myself. And I know what a real friend does is speak the truth in love. And then when you speak the truth, they'll speak it too. A real friend. A real friend. You'll really meet at that place where, where our spirituality and our humanness meet. Right? So I hope that you can work this one this week. Approaching the holidays, it's really good to know where we are in our process. It's good to be clear in what our truth is. For instance, if you get invited to a holiday event and you really don't want to go, how are you going to handle that? You don't have to say, "I don't want to go." You can say, "No, I'm not going to be able to go this time." Most people don't say why. If they say why, you can say, "You know what? I just don't think that's best for me right now." It doesn't make anybody wrong. I don't want to be in a gathering of 35 people and be at a super spreader event. Right? So inside.
Right. Yeah.
You know. So there's a way to tell the truth with love, with power, with dignity, with respect. So just think about how might you handle that. Because you can speak the truth and still be in love. You can speak the truth and still be authentic. You don't have to take someone out with your truth. That's why I added with love, power, dignity, and respect. Because when you speak the truth, there's no blaming. You take full responsibility for the words coming out of your mouth, full responsibility for your truth. Remember that speaking your truth brings you peace, joy, love, and even some self-respect. Because you love yourself enough to be honest with yourself and to be honest with those, you are in relationship with in the world around you. This is a very, very freeing place to be. I do wish this for you, dear friend, and I hope I see you some this month in some of the courses online or the one-on-one appointments. I'm so honored and blessed to work with all of you, and I thank you for the work you're doing to have your soul grow, prosper, and evolve. I'm honored, really, to be a part of your journey. So my prayer for you this week is that as you speak the truth, you'll speak the truth with love, power, dignity, and respect. Thank you for joining me today. Blessings on the journey, dear friend.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Authentic Spiritual Journey presented by Zen Living Realty, Supportek Staffing, and Center for the Healing Arts. This channel is also made possible through the continued support of our angel patrons, Aggie Payton, Anna Evans, Arlene Meyer, Diana Cox, Jennifer DeVivo, Leslie Williams, Nora Miles, Sean Kilgore, Susanna Garcia, and Taryn Tucker, along with our additional partner patron, Unity of Nashville. If you would like to support the channel as a patron on an ongoing basis or through a one-time gift, head over to experienceofthesoul.com/support. The Authentic Spiritual Journey is copyright 2020 Cynthia Alice Anderson, all rights reserved. Our theme music is composed by Dave Croft and used with permission from RR Hot Publishing. The Experience of the Soul podcast channel is a production of 818 Studios.